Hello everyone, I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we made our way through Esternwood, wasn't really much there, and made our way into Raedric's Hold. We snuck our way into the dungeons, that seemed the best way to try and get in, and now we're going through here. We've been killing a lot of undead, which seem to have been created by an animancer named Osria. So we've got her to find somewhere. And we've got a whole bunch of traps and such around here, too. I do like how they have the traps painted so that they look like they're in the same, like they're in something. Let's see. Camping supplies, we're already at max.
I can do that.
Go ahead, unlock it, please.
That's settled.
We've got scale armor. Okay, something there. Seems like that makes another path through something. Well, we've got a door over here, and we've got this path over here that I haven't looked at. Should probably check there. Ah, we found another stairway up. To the keep kitchen, to the lower ramparts. Alright, so this leads to the kitchen, that leads to the ramparts. There's probably a third way up somewhere. We'll figure out the way we'll get up.
Light, flame, and sound.
Oh, I forgot about that. Good thing you guys didn't walk into that. That probably would have been... Oh!
See now what the flame has shown us?
Failed to disarm the trap. Oh, shit. Ow, ow, ow.
Perhaps a little rest is in order. Keeping an eye out.
Okay, I think that trap is gone now. And we've got more black oozes. Couple of them. Get in and attack. Okay, you two focus on that one. You keep attacking that one. Consecrated ground, you're gonna need to stay alive, please. Oh, crap. And he's out. That's bad. Good news is that one's dealt with. Almost got the black ooze. There we go. Okay, that didn't go as well as I'd like.
Yeah.
What have we got in here? A couple moonstones.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Anything else of note around here? So you've got lower dexterity and lower damage reduction against burns. Doesn't appear to be anything else around here. Okay. Let's head back up there. We've got one more room to explore, at least. And that's probably where Osrin is. Shh. Let me throw down a save first, just to be safe. Alright, let's go in here. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of undead.
Let's go.
Charge in, get on him. There goes one. You guys are working on killing the others. Another one down. Why are you not attacking? I need to adjust the AI in this at some point. Okay, that dealt with all of them.
Laying low.
Let's start looking around. The tank is warm to the touch. The glass vibrates with the bubbling fluid inside. Blood and flecks of dried flesh encrust the restraints. Ooh, some nice coins there. And some coins there. Oh, this door wasn't locked. It was just another way in. Which means this door must lead in. Okay. Well, this is gonna be a little worrying. A woman, caught mid-step across the room, turns her head to face you. Long curls of black hair frame her face, one side of which is flecked with some green liquid. The gaze she sets upon you holds an eerie intensity. More interruptions. The woman sets down the book she holds, smiling faintly. What an interesting time we've been having of late. So many uninvited guests. I suppose I have you to thank for all the damage to my work. It took time to get those people back on their feet, you know. What is it you're doing here? Lord Raedric sent me to check on your progress. Osria regards you coldly for a long moment. At last, she throws her arms up in the air in frustration. Of course he did. I thought I'd have a few days at least before he resumed his growling. If Lord Raedric wishes to see swifter progress, then perhaps he might deign to provide the materials I need. Does he think he is the only one growing impatient? I am gifted with this pitiful little laboratory, and he expects miracles. And meanwhile, that old wretch, that useless priest, has the whole of the upper keep to himself. What does he provide? Superstition and useless advice. Very well, then. Look upon my progress. I have made what use of Kolst's filthy cohorts I was able. Tell Raedric that I will have more useful information for him once I have been given adequate time for study. If you're lucky, he won't hang you in my place. Do move along. Raedric's a demanding fellow, and I have much to do. Or we could kill her. That is also an option. Give me a moment. Okay, so that is one option, but... Were those yours? I prefer cats myself. I've one of those as well. Osria studies you, mouth crooking upwards in a small smile. You're one of Kolst's little rebels, I take it. Come to fulfill his ambitions? Put an end to his departed allies? No matter. What concerns me is the curse upon Gilded Vale's people. I am on the cusp of a great discovery, and it's not Kolst who undermines me. You might have chosen more powerful allies. What caused Widewind's legacy? It isn't the superstition of senile old men, I can tell you that. The legacy is an affliction of the soul, and I have dedicated my life, alongside my peers, to understanding the fabric of souls, the essence of life. With any luck, she'll hang on that tree alongside her peers, too. Alof's voice is cold. I consider myself the foremost student of Pangram's famous theorems. It wasn't by chance that I was called here to assist in determining the true cause of this blight. This curse is not a parting gift from the scattered god, nor a punishment for petty sins. It must be a localized effect, something which strips the soul from a body as the Biawaks are known to do. Don't tell my town that. They might get real embarrassed about trying to have me hanged. I have detected, even so, lingering traces of essence upon the bodies of so-called Hollowborn. This suggests that the soul itself has not been wholly destroyed. It remains, I think, intact somewhere, and so it can be retrieved, sutured, if you will, back into its mortal flesh. Why haven't you been able to find a cure yet? Osria's expression grows cold. It's that fool priest Nedmar, the Baratheon. That old man has woven a tidy little tapestry of lies and fables. Lord Raedric is a pious man, and Nedmar holds power over him, especially now after this business with Ygritte, as if that hollow-born child was my doing. In any case, my efforts are increasingly hobbled by ignorance. The priest has focused Lord Raedric's attentions upon the ruins of the Scattered Gods' temple. If it is consecrated anew, rededicated to Barath, then the curse will be lifted. Raedric believes him, of course. In any case, he has supplied a vast amount of gold towards the effort. You will note that I am bereft of such generous support. She gestures to her lab with a sweep of her arm. I am left to scrounge for answers in these dismal conditions. Could I help somehow? Osria angles a curious look your way. An interesting proposal. I certainly can't leave you threatening Lord Raedric's life. How would I continue my research if he were gone? Still, perhaps we need not be enemies. If your true purpose is indeed, as Coast claims, to help Gilded Vale, then we are of one mind, and you may well be of use to me. I stand at the very brink of revelation, but Nedmar's interference has gone too far. What do you want me to do? I want you to deal with the High Priest, of course. With him gone, Raedric will have nobody to distract him. We can focus our efforts upon resolving this crisis, and we will have the resources to do so. Kill him, and in return I will give you the means to speak with Raedric. A secret way by which you can avoid the guards. They're not as patient as I, you see, nor do they ask many questions before attacking. All this with the condition that you do not harm Lord Raedric. Aloth speaks between his teeth. I do hope you're not considering a deal with her. No deals. I'm leaving now. Osria's smile fades swiftly. Very well. If it's battle you long for, I'm happy to indulge you. Perhaps Lord Raedric will show me greater favor if I bring him your corpse as well. You two go there. You go there. You, how about you go ahead and cast Mirrored Image to be safe? You, actually, now that I think about it. Not you, you. How about you get a blessing out? There, the blessing should help. Get back to bashing that Revenant down as quickly as you can. Okay, that's dead, that's dead. You go for the human skeleton. What? You go for Osria. And in fact, how about you try knocking her down? That'll help. And now everyone get on Osria. Finish her. There we go. Alright, that creepy woman's dealt with. And we've got a rusted iron cell key and Osria's grimoire. You can take that. And that all goes in there.
No problem.
So what do you have on Osria's grimoire? We've got Jolting Touch, Fleet Feet, Binding Web, Fireball, and Crackling Bolt. Ooh. Definitely learn of those. Yeah, you know what? Learn all of them. Does it cost money? Yes, but you'll be fine. Go ahead and put Fireball and Crackling Bolt in there. What is Binding Web? Leaves people stuck in place. Okay, that's not very interesting. Fleet Feet lets him move better and escape quicker. Okay. That is freeze damage, and that is... Oh. That jumps. That's actually probably better than freezing. But it's nice to have cold as an option. You know what? Get rid of Necrotic Lance and replace that with Rolling Flame, because that's probably going to be hilarious. Excuse me. And replace that with Jolting Touch. I have a feeling these spells are going to be very dangerous. But we still have them. Alright, let's look around here. Oh! The cat. At first you think this poor creature is diseased, for its black fur seems to have fallen off its hide in patches. But when the cat turns to investigate a fly on the wall, you notice that an entire section of its rib cage is open to the air. Oh, God! Some of its tail is rotted away altogether to reveal a few jagged vertebrae. This doesn't seem to bother the cat much. It lets out a trilling purr and rubs against your shin. Pet the cat? You spend a few pleasant moments scratching the cat between the ears. Black fur comes away in clumps. Pick up the cat. You pick up the surprisingly light and unexpectedly pointy creature, and it purrs contentedly in your arms. And now we have a black cat. The small black cat makes for a grisly companion, for its thin hide is stretched over its bones, the skin is rotting away around its chin, and there's an unsavory gleam in its golden eyes. All the same, it seems content to twine about your ankles, purring. Well, I am more of a cat person than a dog person. Alright, let's loot what we can out of here. Don't be in slow mode. Let's see. The Deerwood Part 6, don't care about that. We've got a fine stiletto. There does appear to be a hidden passage, but I have a feeling that would only work if we, actually got our help with this. Which we did not, because we're not evil. So it looks like we ultimately have two choices. However, we've also been a bit wounded, so let's go ahead and take a bit of a rest. You can take the damage reduction. You are stuck with the damage reduction. You can take... I guess you can have the damage reduction too. Go ahead and rest. You know what? I'm curious about something. Can we talk to you about things?
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning
Let's
your
see.
knuckles on the
I wanted to ask
door.
about the region and its history. Okay. Do you know anything about the Deerwood and the surrounding nations?
Deerwood's the best of them. Still has spirit if a land can have one. It's a place where a man can walk freely, even make new roads. And that's a rare thing in this world. Its generations, however, are damned. So no new footfalls may spell an end to it.
Do you mean the Hollowborn?
Yes. Eothas' last stab at revenge after he was ended. Eothas was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. I don't believe it. The problem is closer than that, and as always it involves women and men. And they are always circling, within and without. The Valian Republics, Raid Ceres, the Saints' War. One big bladed spiral, shedding everything around it.
How do you feel about the Valian Republics?
Fortune seekers garbed in robes of office. Manipulators, traitors and traitors all.
Don't hold them in high regard?
Any country so obsessed with style might as well be wearing scarves over their eyes. Keep vigilant, or they'll turn you into slaves as soon as ink dries on the trade treaty. The Deerwood and all its internal riches is too tempting, especially if someone else tames the country and the face painters for them.
Face painters. Durance waves his hand dismissively.
Tribes, Glanfathans, cluster around the ruins like flies.
What about Raid Ceres? Durance's face flushes and a sheen of sweat forms on his brow.
Too many adjectives to that so-called nation. Civil unrest, economic collapse. All tinder, just needing the right spark. Some farmer shows up, takes a god into himself, then takes a crown on his head. This divine kingdom he tries to set up goes about as well as you'd expect.
A trickle of sweat runs down the side of Durance's cheek and sinks into his beard.
Suddenly the population of heretics goes up by about half and again, and Eothas starts turning his blood-stained gaze to any blasphemer he can find. Cleaning house is one way to put it. Purge is another. Put them and their god in their place, though, with enough force to kill that damned country, too.
Not a supporter of the country of Raid Ceres. Aloth passes by casually, muttering under his breath. Surely you know where this is going by now. It's not a country, it's a gathering of cowards. 80 puppets. They used to be an optimistic bunch, a bright bunch. Was their undoing. Should have embraced their misery without letting a farmer lead them to a brighter ruin. Almost Aethys puppets, too. Put an end to that. They dangled on his strings, weighed when dangled on theirs. They would never have had any success on the battlefield had not their god come down. The Saints' War needed to call on their god to have a chance. Tell me about the Saints' War. Durance's eyebrows draw together in a frown, then he grunts. Keep forgetting your feet are new to the Deerwood. The Saints' War.
Wasn't a war. It was a god stepping past himself. The country of Raed Saris and all their heathens. They're paying for it now. Although by my count, the fire should have roared through their country with more force, catching all their souls. Truth, it wasn't even a war. It was a cautionary tale about pride. Specifically, Widewind's pride. He should have stayed a farmer.
What happened?
Was, 15, 16 years ago? 2807? My memories are back with a younger me. I don't hold on to dates, I hold on to actions and causes. The war was an act of arrogance, born straight from Raed Saris' twitching legs. A man thinking himself more than a man. Want to kill someone? Tell him a god speaks through him. Then tell him he means him to lead, which puts him at the front of an army. And the army was as strong as you'd expect for Raed Saris, as sick as that country was to begin with. Yet a war was likely just what they needed.
What was wrong with the country?
Raed Saris had its share of troubles. It deserves all of them. It deserved Widewind. He was the light that led them to flame. Raed Saris was in decline, Aedir poison already eating its veins, economic bleeding, the dying of their faith. Then Widewind, this farmer, claims to take up Aethys in the flesh, and gives them the worst kind of hope.
What happened then?
They crown him.
Durance taps his head, making a slight bow, and when his face turns back to you, he's wearing a feral smile.
They make him king, the worst kind of blasphemy. And once he wears the crown on his head and the god in his flesh, why, he starts making changes. Divine changes. Then he decides he's going to change us. Save us.
How?
He marches on the Deerwood to free us. To free us from our beliefs, like he freed the other souls in Raed Saris. Cold Morn offers up its belly with no resistance, and it's spared. The bloodshed starts when he sacks Mercy Vale. A touch of irony, that. Puts it to the flame.
Cold Morn. Durance spits, snarls.
Cowards! And Cold Morn is an apt name for them. They lay still, frozen, while their fellows burned. They'll pay Magrin's price one day for such cowardice.
What did Aethys do next?
Aethys keeps marching. Deerwood takes to the trees, cutting at his flanks, his scouts, his troops. It seemed near hopeless.
Durance's face becomes grim, then smiles slightly.
Until Halgott's citadel. The Godhammer. There we put him to the flame, burned the god out of him, if there ever was one to begin with. Dozen brave men and women take to the bridge, make a stand. Then we torched him there with the fire of the Godhammer.
What is the Godhammer?
Gods have taken flesh. In all respects, taking willing and unwilling vessels. It's not a violation. It's what gods do, as long as they accept all that comes with it. Men are weak. Gods? Well, we showed old Widewen that he was flesh and blood, no matter how much light was pouring out of his farmer's hands. Took men of faith to build a weapon. A Godhammer. Judgment. Proved him dead at Halgott's citadel.
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, their independence. There are few that would deny that Aethys overstepped. The Godhammer reminded Aethys of this. A fire and force so terrifying, so bright, it burned a god away.
Durance holds his staff, and his hands lock around it, tracing the etchings as you watch. As you watch, the top of the staff blossoms, burns brightly, and Durance speaks, his face illuminated in the fire.
A weapon that would burn brighter than Aothus, and we led him to it and burned him at the stake. The stake was the god hammer, and we impaled him on it.
You said you fashioned it. Durance nods.
Wasn't easy shaping it, crafting it, the pieces, the curve of the relic. Even then, it was a massive thing, something that required a god to come to it, rather than be cast at him. The luring him to it, that was the easy part. Gods are prideful.
What happened?
We led him to fields, ones that he remembered as a farmer, perhaps. The fields right outside Halgot's citadel. Now Godhammer Citadel. It was right across the Evandare Bridge, an easy trek. Men died. Then more died, luring Aothus onto Evandare. We had carved veins and paths through the bridge, excavated the foundations, filled them with powder and ember-hungry grains, eager to burn. Our hands had even pried the mortar and rock loose, sharpened them to points, so they might be rent from their foundations easier, and tear through the flesh of that pretender.
And so you used Evandare against Aothus.
We poured the god hammer into its foundations with faith. Set it alight. Let the hammer fall, upwards onto the anvil. 8 died before the god hammer fell, and the god hammer claimed the remainder. 12 in all.
And Aothus went back to the ether, or the grave. He's lost his voice and his love for war, I'll tell you that much. It took only taunts by men, and that was enough to lure him across the bridge, and right into the new sun.
Durance straightens his back, draws a deep breath.
It let Raed Sarah see how bright their arrogance had become, and became a symbol by which we answered their purge with one of our own.
Purges?
We started saving the Aothasians from themselves, burning any that didn't die with their god. Heresy in Raed Ceres is one thing. Heresy here in the Deerwood comes with a more personal touch.
Why the purges?
As I see it, every Aothasian who still lives in the Deerwood puts the nation at risk, is another dagger held to the throat of our faith. Root them out, burn them, or send them back to Raed Ceres to wallow in the blood of their failure.
Not sure if I agree there. I wanted to ask about the region and its history.
It's as if you swallowed a gadfly next. Keep silent and keep them to yourself, lest you tire before the next campfire.
I suppose you've had enough to speak of.
Got it.
All right. Well, we've taken care of things there, and it looks like we've taken care of everything there was to deal with around here. We do have a key. I wonder if this key will allow us to go into this door. Let me try it on the door and see if it works. If it does, we'll be able to get in. If it doesn't, and that key only opened this, which I think it may have, we do not have the key. Alright, so we have 2 choices, the lower ramparts or the kitchen. I suppose we can go and take a look in the lower ramparts, but that'll have to be in the next episode, because this one has gone on way long enough. Next episode, we'll move higher up in this place and see what we can find. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Phalai. That is Laniara, Adair, Durance, and Aloth. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.